there.
Let it all work out. 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 Let it all work out.
Hey everyone, we're on episode 6 now of Building in Berlin. I kind of question how much I'm actually showing for the building aspect, so I think we need to start to bring things back in. Definitely we'll be able to showcase more of that from next week as a bit more has happened. Things in life has been pretty hectic here in Berlin with things entering the Christmas period and having to go and do exams that I kind of neglected over the past couple weeks, past couple months. So with that, let's jump into the week's recap. Ich habe im Wohnzimmer seit Carla Fern, im Wohnzimmer seit sie Fern, Carla seit im Wohnzimmer Fern. We passed. Good morning, welcome to a new day. It's currently Wednesday the 26th of November. About to head off to uni. We have an entrepreneurship class. We have a project that we're working on with sustainability. It's a bit of this. We're gonna rock up. The class is, it's 5.5 hours today, so proper shift. Just want to share this. Our toilet is clogged. I'm trying to find out ways to unclog it. I clogged it. I've been eating good. It's about 1:30 and I haven't made my real for today yet, so I'm fucking tired. We've got class at 8:30, so we need to be up in about 5 hours. But we're committed to this, so we're gonna get it done. Fred, again, Arun's Rooftop mix on repeat. It is now the Friday. It's been pretty hectic. We've been doing a lot of catch up for uni. It's gonna be fucking busy, and I'm gonna try pull this off. And I guess if it's not the best quality, that's okay, because the intention is just to help people. Intention is to just try and motivate people, and I think the form of a challenge, we're going to call it Dialed in December, DD. And the goal is to prime you guys, if you're the viewer, or as anyone that really wants to take 2025 to the next level. Not saying that they won't if they don't do this, but just a way to just prime yourself so you roll into the new year with intention, with speed. I think the biggest issue that I've encountered is I've wanted to make change, and I've waited and did so much shit up until the new year, and expect that from the new year onwards that I'll be able to achieve those goals that I set out for myself. And that just really didn't turn out to be the case for most things, because by the end of the month, or not even there, I was back into old ways or doing things that weren't adding to the goals that I'd set out for myself. This last year was probably where I had the most growth, and I do attest that still to the things that I did in the previous years to compound to give me the skills, the mindset, and the hunger to go out and do that. But I just think starting with the mindset that you don't start on January 1st. You need to start beforehand and prime yourself. That's so powerful. And I think creating this challenge that I've just come up with on the 29th of November is going to be how I can have the most impact. Rather than having it looks nice, a reel of cool places I went to, which will be tonight's post. But all tomorrow, editing, and grinding out this little mini course that I'm going to be producing, where I post something every single day leading up. So I have to film bits every day leading up so I can reuse, and then to do a talking head over it because my family is visiting. I still need to roll out a YouTube video a day, so there's still a lot on the plate, and I know I'm adding a whole extra course, but I know if I structure my time well, then I can do it. And if I don't do other stupid shit while I'm here, like one show of Netflix that I've been really enjoying, which has been beneficial, Mad Men. That's 45 minutes I can get back. I can pump out probably 2 videos in that time. So there's ways around it, and we're gonna push ourselves, but I just think it's so funny because this is a prime example of how my brain works, and I would even say, and I put money on it, how a lot of your brains work. The fact that we have a shiny object syndrome, and we'll do something until it dries up a bit, and then something fresh comes, and we think it's a great idea. And you know, maybe this is an experiment. Maybe this really is that shiny object syndrome coming into play where it's a shit idea. But I think because it's come from a place where it's not selfish, it's more selfless for me. And I think that if I was young and my younger self, I would have really appreciated to have this kind of insight and this knowledge. And this is the main reason I'm doing it, to speak to those people who were like me when I was younger, who knew they kind of wanted a bit more to life, and thought there was, thought they were special, or thought there could be something that they could do to put them ahead, and never really had anyone to show them, but fell into the ways of being like those around them at the time, and maybe doing things that weren't so great for the body, the mind, and those kinds of things. So I mean, this is the positive impact that I can have rolling into the new year, and let's go, let's fucking do this. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got some ADHD flying around here, but I think that's the reason why I can take on all these tasks and just make it work. And so I'm just happy to be able to document this and share this because it's super interesting. So yeah, this task is broken into 4 sections, as I said. The first week is going to be ideation. We're going to go through tactics and kind of build out what our goals are going to be, and there'll be little tasks every day to build to day 7, which will be, okay, what are the actual goals? Okay, now the second week, we're going to spend that whole week planning the action steps. Now we don't want to have a grand plan about this step to do this, and this, I'm going to do like 50,000 steps for this one goal. I think that is great if you want to do that, but for most of us, really unrealistic. I think if we pigeonhole ourselves to something so meticulous and rigorous, we're just setting ourselves up for failure and wasting time making all these stupid steps. We really want to think about, okay, maybe what are all these steps that we need, but actually, what are the core steps that we need? So we'll go through planning out all the steps, then bring it right back to the core and the roots, and trying to think about, okay, if there's only 3 things that I have to do each day to achieve this goal, what are they going to be? And maybe we have a big goal here, and we have these mini goals that all come to here. And from those mini goals, we just have the steps to go to the mini goals and ultimately achieving our main goal. We'll see how that pans out. Anyways, the third week, we're just going to do a bit of a test. We're going to start implementing these things in. I understand it's going to be the week just before Christmas, so it'll be very interesting to see how you would cope when important events in life come up. I think it's actually perfect that we can test, okay, maybe that didn't work so well. Why wasn't I able to do that action on that day, even though this important event was on? Maybe we need to go back and iterate how we approach this. And that's what the final week is, iteration. We're going to go through and we're going to reflect on what that last week was, what the goals we set were, what the intentions and ideas we had in the first week are, and see if we need to make any changes. Maybe the goal that you thought you had was actually different. That's okay. Now we'll change and go back through, okay, how will we change this to be more attainable or more authentic to who we want to be and the future self that we're trying to create. Also, I think which will be so fun and which I'll share is my mood board. The mood board that I created at the beginning of last year. And it's crazy because the amount of things that I've ticked off in this last year is actually crazy. I wrote myself a new goal. I just listened to Tom Noski's YouTube video, came out 7 days ago, so on the 22nd of November. I don't watch his stuff too often, but this one came on my feed and popped up, and it was just about the same thought that I'd had previously. about goal setting 2024 and that kind of thing. And so the kind of goal I've set for myself is posting every day for the next 6 months and like, I mean, by these 6 months, we're gonna be doing this no issue. It's gonna be a habit. And then posting a YouTube video every week. If I do that for 6 months, I'll have myself a new FX3. So overall, I'm giving this week about a 7.6 out of 10. Am I? I think mentally we're there. I think what's actually happened and the things we're doing, maybe at about a 6.6. Taking all factors into consideration with just to be accountable. And honestly, in some things it was a slower week. So some of the highlights of this week is definitely on the networking, friends, lifestyle aspect of my life. I felt like I really had an opportunity to connect with some of the newer people that I met and go do some activities which allow me to spend a bit more time with them rather than, you know, the old nights out at the bar or just casually seeing each other at uni. I think was very, very different. And this was kind of through the gym. I really trained hard with a guy called Fabio, a massive Italian guy that's in one of the friend groups that I'm in here. And it was really nice to just, you know, train with him and just connect on that different level where we're not really thinking about like study life. It's more the shared mission to just smash our bodies and just push ourselves. Like I'd never pulled like full stacks of weight or push myself like that in quite a while. So it was nice to train with someone where I could really push to failure, because most of the time I'm training by myself and I'm not going all the way to failure. Haven't been training as consistently this week, but it was good to be more accountable and be able to go with some other friends this week as well to make up for that. Also in that kind of socializing, networking category, we had a Friendsgiving with some of the friends, which was great. A bunch of us went to one of the girls' places and we all brought a dish, so there was plenty of food, which is making me hungry right now. Only had freshly made chicken soup, but it was just really nice to have lots of different foods, home cooked style, and just eat it up, chat it up, and have a nice evening without having to think about work too much. Like I'm trying to appreciate those moments a lot more and look towards those moments where I can be more present in a moment rather than half in the moment, half in my head thinking about what I actually need to do. And I think a big part of that actually comes from, which I'll speak on later, is just getting the shit you need done when you need to do it. Because if you don't, it just lingers with you. And in my experience, that's exactly what happens. 2 more highlights I want to touch on. One is a bit of a win, so we joined Soho House Berlin. It's pretty cool. I mean, the connotations of like, oh, Soho House, but I think it's really beneficial from a networking perspective, a perspective that it's another place that I can work, which is not in this shitty little dorm. To be honest, I'm very grateful for the dorm, but it's not the optimal place to work. And I feel like when I'm at the cafe or another space, I can get so much more done. The sun's coming up a bit. Just adjust that. So we did the tour on Thursday, had a look around, look at the features. Gonna check out the gym to see what that's like to train. So we're gonna do a little train session today. The only thing is that we can't film in there, unfortunately. So no content there, and it kind of sucks. It's a cool new space that we've unlocked, and usually, and in the past, it would be something that I would not really want to do. It's like an extra expense, but I'm changing my thought process to see these things more as an investment rather than like a waste of money. And if seeing it as the investment and actually using it to its potential, that's where I think I can do the most damage. Especially Mondays, 50% off. So if you're in Berlin, let me know. We'll get food on Mondays. And the final highlight was yesterday, the beginning of Dialed in December. But I met this guy on Instagram. We had just been chatting back and forth. He was back in Berlin, so we decided to go catch up. That led to us going for a ice bath in this local lake near him, and far out, it was bloody cold. It was just fucking cold. It really was. It was painful to an extent, but I would so go back and do it and work more in the mental side of things. I was in there for about 1.5 minutes, but I definitely think we could double it or triple it for the next time. especially focusing on breath work and breathing. So we did want to get to 15 lead or positive sale calls by the end of this month regarding our services. And I had one yesterday, which was from an existing client, but it was more for ongoing work and upselling. And I really realized, fuck, I need to put in one, like a lot more work to generate more leads, but two, need to work on my sales protocol and how I learn to do sales. I mean, I've had it easy, and a lot of my work has been through word of mouth. So we're in this stage of, okay, how can we find external clients that are not in the network currently, and that we can show the value and speak about value to them in order to gain them as a client, rather than relying on word of mouth all the time, which is good, but I just think for us to grow and expand, we need to dial in and try the sales side of things out. I also noticed a bit of a bottleneck in the content creation side of things, especially for clients that we need to fix. Sometimes I noticed that I would overshoot. That's what I did. Just remembering another thing I did, which is fantastic. That I overshoot without a plan, and that actually leaves me with less time, which takes away from the time that I have, leaving me with less time to do other things, because I've got, 100 gigabytes of content, which is only needed for like, 2 15-second reels, which isn't smart at all. So this really reminded me to on Friday, where we went to shoot for a sandwich joint, and they were releasing a new sandwich, doing a bit of a pop-up inside a bar, which is a very cool concept. And I kind of had a really busy week trying to catch up with uni and content for a client that had to be delivered by the end of the week. That it was a bit of a last minute thing that we had agreed to do, and so my prioritization was on all this uni work that I had backed up, plus another client that had have a deadline due on the day of, and so my planning wasn't all together, and a lot of different things were happening where how I thought the shoot would go didn't actually go the way it did, and I had to pivot on the spot, which kind of threw all those plans out the door anyway. And that's one big thing that I'm learning here in Germany is, in Australia, you could kind of film anyone within reason for these projects, but in Germany, people just don't like to be filmed, and there's a big thing on privacy. And so through the idea of the, emotional connection with the sandwiches, the reactions, the good vibes, good times that I was trying to go down this angle of, it really took that away from it. And so I had to pivot to, okay, how can we make the sandwich just look so delicious that you're watering in the mouth and wanting to go to the next pop-up, and then showcase like the vibes of the place and the kitchen and that kind of thing. And also like the tail end of this week, I think I've just been fighting some kind of cold that just doesn't leave. I get a congested nose. I'm like feeling a bit under the weather and try not to push myself, although the last 2 nights have been 2 a.m, 4 a.m. sleeps with 8 a.m. wake up. So that's definitely really having a toll on my clarity and ability to perform. So I've made myself a lovely chicken thigh broth that I've been devouring throughout this morning, and you just look to get back on track on things. I don't want to burn out before the New Year's. We've got some massive things coming up, girlfriends visiting, families visiting in literally 8 days in a week, and so I need to plan some things for us to do. So I really want to get all this stuff done so I can focus on that kind of family time and like bring things back a bit, but still remain locked in with the habits and the different things that I need to do. But yeah, I mean, reflecting back on just this whole conversation now, I think the biggest takeaways from the week I've just been having is a lot of internal conversation, the importance to listen to the body, reflect on what has been working, what I'm planning to do but hasn't really worked, and kind of noticing where there's a bit of stubbornness coming in. And I say that in like a loving way, where I think I'm doing something correctly, but actually it's having negative impact and another consequence that I didn't realize. For example, just the domino effect of doing so many things. For example, too much time scrolling leads to less creativity and less time. Less time leads to more rush and actually more time spent on editing different videos and content, which leads to later nights, which leads to deadlines pushed back, which leads to more tiredness and this vicious cycle that keeps repeating. And I feel like I keep going into this flow of getting really tired and trying to work myself back up and just pull, but I need to make it easier for myself because it is easy, but my old mindset, my old persona is still here and we're slowly killing it off, but we need to just take note of these things. Definitely in the reflection side of things, it's been really good to notice the wins and acknowledge the wins, also acknowledge the losses and maybe even change the perspective to turn them into wins, to turn them into wins of opportunity where we had things that actually didn't go to plan but turned out in a way that we never could have foreseen before. And it's gonna be very interesting. I want to make a video on 2024 for me. I think it's been a massive and a fucking pivotal year where it's just totally changed my trajectory of life, from the early decisions I made in the year, the people that I've met, the moves that I've made, like physical moves to Berlin. Like it's been a massive, massive, massive year, and it's a story that I just want to share because I feel like, and I know that it'll inspire so many people, maybe you, your friends, anyone, to just make a change and take life into your own hands, because that's the only way that you're going to really reach contentfulness and happiness and a sense of peace. So thank you guys so much for your time. Let me know in the comments what you plan to do for December. Let me know if you want to join in to this program that I have. I've got a free PDF. I'll just send it straight over to you. You can just send me a DM on Instagram. It's no issue at all. Also, if you comment on any of the posts throughout December, I'm pretty sure dialed in, you'll get an automation message from ManyChat that'll come into the DMs where you can just download it with no email sign up, no nothing. If you really want it on email so you can access it whenever, you can also have an option to opt into the emails too, which is also pretty cool. Anyways, I'll speak to you in a week's time. You have an amazing week ahead. That sounds so YouTubey, what the fuck? Thanks for tuning in. Even if you don't want to participate in Dialed in December, I recommend just check out the document, have a read through. I think it could really provide some cool insights to the goals that you want to set for the new year's, and maybe just some different ways to think about things. 17 minutes? Shit. Edit, edit, edit.